as we all know, the most oppressed minority group in the whole world is conservatives. Do you guys know that? This is true. You can look it up. A fucking multitude of data has corroborated the fact that conservatives are the most oppressed group. You mean gamers? Gamers are usually conservative, typically, it seems. So that would also apply. That's intersectionality. Understanding that conservatives and gamers are both oppressed in different ways, that is intersectionality, if you aren't aware. All jokes aside, though, there is this tendency among conservatives to sort of play the victim, as though they are simultaneously the ones in power who are stronger than their opponents. This is actually a component of fascism, if you're not aware. There's a tendency for fascists to paint their opponents as simultaneously weak and capable of destruction, while also being very strong and a massive threat to your very existence as a people. This is a tendency, I think that's Umberto Eco's definition of fascism, or one of the aspects of fascism that he coined. But you'll notice the conservatives, like contemporary American conservatives, do this as well, where they say that the left are simultaneously these weak soy boy SJW feminazis, while at the same time being the global elite who own all the businesses and corporations and the government and are running everything. It's like very contradictory, but conservatives don't care about contradictions. They aren't very intellectually honest. But this plays into their sort of victim narrative, which they also accuse the left of having, where they like to claim that it's harder to be a conservative or to come out as a conservative nowadays than it is to come out as gay, despite the fact that our president is probably one of the most right-leaning presidents we've ever had. I guess, either way, who here knows about the conservative twins, the Hodge twins? Does anybody here know about them? They kind of remind me of like the a two-person version. Actually, no. You know, like the weird twins in the fucking, what movie is that? The Stephen King book where they're at the Shining, right? The two twins in the hallway in The Shining. Hold on, let's look it up. I think these guys are actually doing really, really good. Like really, really good on their channel. Holy shit. Yeah, so that they changed their names from the Hodge twins to the conservative twins, and they're doing unbelievably well on their channel right now. 2 days ago, 122K. 2 weeks ago, 1.2 million. 2 weeks ago, 435K, 579K, 920K, 916K. These guys are fucking popping off. Their channel has been growing and getting shit tons of views. They have multiple channels too, and all of them have over 1 million subscribers. This one has over 2 million. So these guys are popping off. Clearly, they're very, very much oppressed for being conservatives. But they kind of creep me out, like low key. Like, I don't know. I'm going to be honest. Twins creep me the fuck out. Someone said here, Sus Magician sent an image. Okay. That's not what I was thinking. But, yeah, they creep me the fuck out. I don't know what it is about them, but, you know. Anyway, though, Steven Crowder had them on his show talking about what it was like to come out as conservative. So let's go ahead and take a good long watch.
Hey, everybody, we've got a special announcement. I know we have been talking about it.
Hold on. Okay, that seems like pretty good audio balance. Holy shit, Kai Wolfie, I'll get to that in a minute.
An exciting week this week, and we are going to be switching things up a little bit. Steven and I have been working furiously behind the scenes on some exciting new stuff that's going to be happening. You're going to see the fruits of those labors in January, but we've moved up the timeline on getting that work done. So Steven and I are going to be taking that time this week to work on these things. But
isn't this the guy that Steven Crowder mentions as Asian in like every video? I don't know if you've noticed that, but like I've seen multiple videos by Steven Crowder where he keeps on like pointing to a guy off the side saying like my Asian friend, my Asian lawyer, my half Asian. Yep, thank you. Brimstoner, thank you for the correction. My half Asian friend, which is hilarious because it's like the most obvious. Guys, how can I be racist when I have a half Asian friend? Is this him? I assume this is him. It's actually Steven post-Biden. Wait, no. This would be Steven post-voting for Andrew Yang. If voting for Biden makes you black, then voting for Andrew Yang would make you Asian, right? Okay, we're getting a little too yikesy here. Let's continue.
But in the meantime, we're going to be answering some incredible requests that we've had for content with the Hodge twins and some never-seen footage from 2020 and talking about other fun things this week to lead everyone off into having a very Merry Christmas, no matter how much Biden and Kamala.
I'm going to be honest. I like this guy more than Steven Crowder. Now, I know he's like a conservative hack, but like his voice is actually pretty pleasant to listen to. He's not annoying. I imagine he's actually funnier than Steven Crowder. I guarantee this guy, who's probably not even a comedian, is probably funnier than Steven Crowder, okay? His voice is less annoying. His personality is less annoying. I could watch this guy for a whole 41 minutes, even if he's like making dumb arguments, because I could debunk them, and it's way more fun than watching Steven Crowder. I guarantee that up ahead of everything.
Want to destroy this country. So we'll see you there.
This, like, I imagine this is voiced over. Hey, listen, at least Crowder's not a Santa Claus denier. I think this is like audio synced or like they're lip syncing over the characters. I'm pretty sure the character here is gonna be like voiced by Crowder or something, right? It's a trans joke. Oh boy, good for her. This is actually pretty funny, believe it or not. Not because this is anywhere near like good comedy. It's unintentionally funny because they're trying to argue that it's harder to come out as conservative than as gay or trans or whatever. Yet at the same time, they're showing what actually happens when somebody comes out as trans. They get harassed and attacked by a bunch of people. And they're depicting that in the skit. Like everyone was like, what the fuck? Fuck you. You know? This is what happens. Are they why would they depict this? If they wanted to like push their narrative, why wouldn't they have everybody be super accepting of it? And then another character comes out as conservative and then they all attack that person. Wouldn't that kind of push their narrative more? Isn't that the narrative they're trying to push in this? Like so far, this seems pro-trans despite the, I guess the fact that it's probably made by Crowder, right? Like trans people or like feel any empathy for the transphobic dude or the other elves? Is that the intention of?
We have to go. Oh, don't we have actually to check in with our Los Angeles traffic report. It's a contractual obligation.
Oh, no.
Los Angeles traffic this morning with Thomas.
I think I'm dealing with sensory overload right now. My ADHD is like, this is one of the hard parts about having ADHD and doing what I do, is that there was so much in that 10 seconds. I don't even know where to start. So before we get to Santa Claus here,
Why is he such a transphobe?
so this character is voiced by Steven Crowder, I assume, and this is supposed to be like shitting on trans people, this song, right? So I guess the elf is reading a book photoshopped to have, I guess this person is trans. I don't know what this is. I don't know what that is. Why is he such a transphobe? Yes, he is a transphobe. The guy assaulted the elf for being trans, said, yelled at them, screamed at them. All their friends were like, fuck you. Yeah, that's pretty transphobic.
I can't stand wearing men's clothes.
True.
Chop my dick off with gusto.
Chop my dick off with gusto. Amazing. So this is actually pretty common, like a pretty common conservative talking point, that transitioning, or I should say bottom surgery, is chopping your dick off. I don't know if you're aware of this, but I don't think we would call something like, I don't know, a tonsillectomy, right? Let's say you got to get your tonsils removed. Would you call that chopping off your tonsils? No. It's a surgery. It is a pretty fucking well advanced surgical procedure that requires fidelity and education to do, in which you are taking like a dick and turning it into a vagina. Pretty anatomically accurate, too. At least the vagina part. I mean, unless the person's intersex, they don't really have ovaries or a uterus or whatever, but who fucking cares? It doesn't really... Unless you have x-ray vision, you can't see when a woman has a uterus or ovaries, so I don't really care. It doesn't make a difference to me, personally. Shouldn't make a difference to anybody. But this is something that they try to do. When they say a trans woman chops her dick off, this isn't meant to sort of like This isn't meant in like a funny way. Like, you know how this is actually something that a lot of trans dudes do or non-binary people do, where they say they're going to get their titties chopped off. You ever heard that? Any hypers in chat for anyone who's heard like somebody getting top surgery saying they're going to get their titties chopped off? Like they say it in sort of like a jokey way. So you can say it like that, and that's usually done like a humorous way. But that's not what's happening here. The reason why they're saying, oh, chop my dick off, is to sort of elicit the reaction from the transphobes in the audience that transitioning is a disgusting thing. It's barbaric, it's mutilation, and it's disgusting. It is supposed to invoke a disgust response in the audience. That is the purpose of describing it in that way.
Then I might fit in.
We have to go. Oh, don't.
Okay, and then we have the elephant in the room of I'm gonna see this in my nightmares. Okay, so for starters, Steven Crowder, if you want to go for the white hair, you should have dyed your hair blonde first. You do know that, right? Like this just looks like you're old. I'm gonna be honest. This you know. Generally, you dye your hair blonde before you color it a different color if you have dark hair. That's usually what people do. So this just makes it look like you're old. Not like Santa old, not like you've got the Snow White hair, but just like old. Is that a fake beard? It could be a fake beard. I've actually never seen Steven Crowder with a beard before, so this could just be fake facial hair. Who knows? If it's real, though, then that's pretty good facial hair. One day, I'll have facial hair like that, everybody. One day, when I'm not 21. But yeah, let's just go ahead and watch.
We have actually to check in with our Los Angeles traffic report. It's a contractual obligation. Los Angeles traffic this morning with Thomas Finnegan on the ground. Mr. Finnegan, what do you got for us, sir?
Morning, Steven. I'm here on the 405, and I guess...
Oh, no.
Whoa.
Oh, gee. Finnegan.
Thomas?
Can you hear us?
Tom.
That is accurate. I'm sorry. This is the one good point Steven Crowder has ever made. This is accurate. Everyone in LA drives like a fucking psychopath, okay? I went to LA back at the beginning of December, end of November, and holy shit, everyone drives like a psycho. We almost died. Me and Lonnie very nearly got into a really bad car accident. We were taking a turn, and this big fucking van just plows through the intersection at full speed and drove so quick and so close to our car, nearly T-boning us, that the car shook. Our car shook from the wind current from that person driving. Everybody in LA drives like a fucking psychopath, unironically. It's wild, dude. Everybody in LA drives insane. So this is actually pretty accurate. I'm gonna be honest.
Thomas Finnegan, what's going on?
Steven, can you set me up with Gabby?
Yeah, the you mean Gabby.com/Crowder?
Yeah.
Okay, dude. We're skipping through the sponsor, okay? We're not letting Crowder shill for us here.
Here we go, Ash Wednesday. Yeah. Everybody, listen, we have the Hodge twins in studio today. How are you, Keith and Kevin?
Got me some cigar action going. Yeah.
Now, which one's Kevin? Which one's Keith?
Am I the only one that gets the impression that a lot of conservative guys are really insecure about their masculinity? I'm not kidding about that. I get really insecure vibes from dudes like this. Listen, I really enjoy being a dude. I really, really do. I'm not even if we didn't have any gender expectations for guys, if we were in a society where it was completely acceptable for men to wear dresses and stuff like that, I wouldn't do it. I would probably dress about the same that I do now when I want to be comfortable wearing basketball shorts or sweatpants, or when I'm more formal, a suit, or somewhere in between jeans and flannel, right? This is what I like to wear. I like presenting fairly masculine. That's my preference. I like having facial hair. I like having short hair. It's just what I'm into. It's how I prefer to dress. And I don't really give a shit when anybody thinks about how I dress. I care what people think I look like, right? If I was ugly and I like smelled bad and had bad hygiene, I obviously care about that. But like, at least in regards to like my masculinity, I don't really give a fuck. I just dress how I like to dress, and it happens to be in a more traditionally masculine way. But for some reason, I get the vibe that a lot of like conservative dudes kind of overdo it. Like, if you like to smoke cigars, let's be honest, nobody likes cigars. I think I took one hit from a cigar once, and it was disgusting, okay? And I vape. I like nicotine. I've never tried a cigarette before. But, like, cigars taste disgusting. So does weed. Maybe it's just generally, like, smoking is just awful. I hate it. But, like, cigars are fucking disgusting. They really, really are. And I feel like most of these, like, dudes that do this kind of shit, trying to project this ultra masculinity, don't actually enjoy smoking cigars and are doing it to try to, like, try to look cool. They're nice, Zan. You're wrong. Listen, I'll try a cigar. I'll try like if somebody has any cigar recommendations, I might try a cigar one day. But yeah, cigarettes are gross. It's like choking on tar. True. That's why I vape. Cigarettes are bad. Okay.
I'm Keith.
Wait, what'd he say? And we have quarter black Garrett's.
Hey, what's up?
Audio Wade, half Asian Bill. Hello. A great cigar today, New World from AJ Fernandez. Yeah. That's a really interesting story. A guy who trained in Cuba, underneath a guy named Rabena, who made all the cigar wrappers for Castro and the Cohibas. Then the Cuban government started taking 90% of the crop, and this guy went to poor guy. He was Lebanese, went to Cuba, then fled Cuba. Now he's in Nicaragua. Poor son of a bitch can't.
Damn communists. Hey, I wonder. How do you think the tobacco and the paper and whatnot for those cigars was grown in harvest? Who do you think was doing that labor? I'm curious, chat. Who do you think was doing that labor in Cuba? You guys, before Castro came along? Children, not just children. Slaves. Slaves. There was a lot of fucking slavery going on. A lot of fucking slaves. It's also pretty funny that they like Cuban cigars but hate Cuba and communism when, like, isn't Castro notorious for always having a Cuban cigar in his mouth?
Catch a break.
They do like slavery, that's true.
AKA, Steven, that's just poor decisions.
It's like someone right now in the United States, a black guy going like, I don't like the way blacks are treated here. I'm going to go to Cameroon.
Well, what? Good luck in Cameroon.
Worse off, go to China. Man, that'd be terrible.
Why do you hate your own people?
I don't hate my own people. They hate themselves.
China sucks.
What? This is supposed to be funny, guys. Guys, I'm serious right now. This is supposed to be funny. This is like a comedy show. Let's see, how many views does this have? 707,000, 33,000 people liked this video. 33,000 people were laughing their asses off while watching this. 707,000 people watched this video and probably enjoyed it for the most part. Let me be a token for you really quick. Listen, I can't read that last word, Azidra. I'm not black, okay? I may have the same name as the author of Roots, and I may have voted for Biden on stream, but I'm not black enough to do that, okay?
That's fair. He's a self-loathing Chinaman.
Yeah, Chinaman. A bootlicking Chinaman.
You know, geez, well, see, now that's just... See, this is one of the few areas where white people can say it. It doesn't have the connotation. Because black people are the ones who created the Chinaman thing.
Oh, I'll correct them when they're wrong, but they got to be wrong first.
So I guess my question of the day to you guys, since we're doing Ash Wednesday, is what do you like on the show when it's non-political? What do you want to see more? We do Mass Mondays. We do Ash Wednesdays. Yeah. Also, Gerald is not dead. He had a baby. He's going to be back very, very soon.
Single
and
Gerald
so
no
he'll be
kids.
back, but he'll still be out a little bit for the first couple of months because, you know, babies, they always want...
This format... I really wish leftists or even just like progressives, you know, like libs in general, were way more maybe it just has to do with funding. Steven Crowder is funded by millionaires and billionaires. He's got like a lot of funding behind him. The online and mainstream right, when it comes to their content creators and their synagogues, their demagogues, have a lot more money behind them. They're synagogues too, I guess. But they have like a lot of money behind them. Black Rifle Coffee, by the way. Yes, of course. But this format for a show isn't really like, this is pretty good. Like, this is like at a base level, the format is good. It's the people occupying the format and their horrible beliefs and sense of humor that makes it so bad. We can learn from Steven Crowder, okay? Guys, listen. It does not harm our reputability or our morals to learn from the success of the right. The way that they get really big, the way that they spread their propaganda. The left should learn from that. The right has these fucking shows where they can like look at this shit. They got a whole ass studio. They're like chilling out, smoking cigars, talking about shit. They've got enough money to do these segments and these skits and stuff like that. Imagine a left-wing show just like Steven Crowder's, in terms of like you've got the main attraction, some large left-wing figure. Then you got like the studio people. Then you've got like a guest that comes on. They do whatever together. They drink, they smoke cigars together. Like the H3 podcast is kind of close, but like having a pretty cool set. Like this set is inarguably pretty cool, besides like the Crowder sign, right? Like I really do like the aesthetic of this set. Like it's a very cozy looking set. Can you imagine like a left-winger having this? Sam Cedar and David Pakman's sets don't come anywhere close to this. I don't know what you're fucking talking about, okay? They do not come anywhere close to this, especially because Sam Cedar and Kyle Kalinske and David Pakman are way more professional, okay? They're like news channels, basically. They're a bit less professional than like CNN or something would be, but they're news channels, right? They don't do this thing where they're just like chilling. They joke and stuff like that, but like this seems like it could be some bros just kind of hanging out. Imagine if the left had this.
He's not dead. He had a baby. He's going to be back very, very soon.
Single
and
Gerald
so
with no
he'll be
kids.
back, but he'll
Very
still be
alive.
out a little bit for the first couple of months because,
Yeah.
you know, babies, they always whine.
They take work.
I don't know. Babies. I'm not entirely sure what happens when you leave the room. I don't know if they still exist. Quantum theory.
I want to see Brendan climbing more poles.
Yeah.
In the middle of the night.
That's a thing.
Well, he did have to pay his way through college, so there's some footage of that somewhere. Let's go first to your questions. You can always send them to louderwithcrowder.com/ask. Okay, that's where we get your video.
Those of you guys didn't get the joke. They were making a reference to him being a stripper and having to strip to pay for college, which is funny because these are the people that argue that college shouldn't be free. So that, oh yeah, you should have to do something, like if you don't want to, you should have to do some type of labor that you don't want to do, like stripping or whatever, in order to pay through college. Baby forgot the water bottle? Oh shit. Oh yeah, you're right. Listen, after this segment, we'll open up the water bottle, and the next segment will be my first sponsored segment, okay?
Video questions that we take for Ash Wednesday, but first, actually, we have a pairing of the week. Correct.
Pairing of the week, yes. From Carolina Cigar Man, Olivia Melanio 5 with Woodford Reserve.
That's a V.
Woodford.
That's a V.
Well,
I don't even know
it's
how
a
you
V.
misread that.
It's 5.
Like, I could understand if you said, like,
What?
read that.
It's 5.
Like, I could understand if you...
Wait, no, it's not. What? No, that looks like the Assassin's Creed symbol. Wait, does Crowder not know Roman numerals? V is 5, right? V's 5? Yeah, V is 5. And it can be a V or a 5. Wait, why would you go after him for that? Yeah, God, bourbon, cigars, and praising the Lord with the Constitution on this flask here. You took Latin, Xander Hall? Yeah, I did. I did take a Latin class once, like 4 years ago, 5 years ago now. Like, what do you like? Do you expect me? I don't remember anything I learned in Latin. Okay.
Woodford Reserve.
That's a V.
Woodford.
That's a V.
Well,
I don't even know
it's
how
a
you
V.
misread that.
It's 5.
Like, I could understand if you said
It's
like
a
a
5.
U,
Come on.
or like,
Roman
you know,
numerals,
a
bro.
V.
He's
What?
part Roman.
Oh, Roman
Yeah.
numerals.
I thought it was a 5.
You know what? You're
Three-quarters
smarter
Roman.
than me.
Oh, okay. Well, we got him. We beat Crowder on this one. We got him. Please, can we skip to the important stuff? Listen, I'm gonna be honest with all of you. There is no important stuff here. Do they timestamp the description? I want to see if there's any timestamps for like things happening. No, of course they don't. Okay. Come on, let's see. Let's see when the Hodge twins are talking. How about this?
Kind of important metric for close friends, and then you have casual friends where you share interests. And I don't really remember how we met. I was a fan of you guys for a long time because you did the fitness channel.
Yeah.
And I used to, when I was younger, hide it from my parents. And
Go to Crowder Bits.
then we had reached out to you a couple of times, and you had an agent who was like, "No, they're not interested." And it turns out it never got to you.
Yeah, that was my black manager.
Oh, okay. I don't way to bring race into it.
Well, it's very important.
I contacted you and I contacted your manager and they never got us in contact. Oh, well, that was my black manager. Conservative comedy, ladies and gentlemen, and non-binary people.
He's black, and she was managing us at the time, and she
We
was
wanted
like,
a career in Hollywood. He's conservative. Stay away from that man.
yeah. So she wanted us out of politics.
Oh, well.
That was a good thing we fired her. She was a horrible manager.
Well, careful. We don't need any black on black, not crime, but smears today. That's also an epidemic. And then I think Darren, who's a booker on the show, because everyone else was afraid to, similar, probably like you guys having managers, you have to cycle through them because like, oh, don't do what you're doing if you want to work in this industry. He reached out, I think, to you guys directly or your new agent and included a quote that you guys, it's just advice, fellas. You can do whatever the fuck you want to do. That's what you guys used to say.
Yeah, gotta call this guy back.
I think you realized that people actually followed your stuff.
Yeah, it was amazing that I had no idea you was watching our stuff. I was
Or-
like,
Hey, man, want to go with Stephen Crowder?
Or a
He's a big fan.
or a 60-year-old white man and my dad.
Hey, Steve, I got
Yeah, have you noticed Crowder does look pretty tense, you know? These guys may be his friends or whatever, but I don't know. Crowder, Crowder's shoulders are up, kind of. He's kind of doing this, you know? He's not all relaxed like he usually is on his segments. I don't know how he feels about being in a room with two black dudes that are considerably larger than him. You know, Crowder's pretty racist, so, you know, he may think there's some of the good ones, but he just seems kind of uncomfortable being in a room with black people.
I thought, and this is true, I thought that you guys were more conservative than you realized, because I said former Marines, business owners. I'd read an interview with you guys in the Rob Report a long time ago, of all places. I must have picked it up at an airport. I said, these are guys who are probably more inherently conservative. And then when I started speaking with you, I just wanted to reach out, I think at that point, because I just wanted to have you as guests.
Yeah.
I think we started talking, and I did say before, I'm like, and you don't have to discuss anything you're not comfortable with. And then, you got the hate mob after you.
Yeah.
I mean,
thanks, Stephen, because you was advertising right beside our videos.
yeah, because like we was getting a lot of messages every day from our black fans, and it's like, oh my God, I lost all respect for you guys. You're on that white supremacist show.
Yeah, I was like, how did he find that video? And I'm looking at my videos, there's a Stephen Crowder advertisement.
On your videos?
Yeah, right beside our video.
Yeah.
Man, I don't even know.
Maybe it wasn't advertised.
Maybe it's
It
promoted.
was suggested.
Yeah.
Back when I was still suggested.
Yeah, I forget the title of the video. We was talking about
days.
Obama.
Yeah. It was Hodge twins hate Obama. Click here now and please end career in comment section. No, but we've talked about this.
I'm glad that at least some of the Hodge Twins fans that were like, yo, what the fuck what are you doing? Why are you doing this weird, like, white supremacy shit? Why are you hanging out with, like, racist people? What are you fucking doing? Oh, yes, because he's getting canceled? Yeah, I guess. This is, by the way, when you're a conservative demagogue, this is what getting canceled looks like. 5.12 million subscribers in a video, every video getting nearly 1 million views, if not more. How's Crowder's channel doing? 284K, 707K, 971K, 1 million, 1 million, 1.5 million, 1.4 million, 1 million, 1 million, 471K, 1.6 million. This is what being canceled looks like when you're a conservative, by the way. The vast majority of videos here, 8.4 million views. Holy shit, that was an election live stream. Yeah, this is what it looks like to be canceled as a conservative demagogue, by the way, in case you're ever curious.
Talking about loyalty, now you have, your conservative twins passed 1 million subscribers, and that happened really quickly.
Yeah.
And you said you guys have fans now who are far more loyal.
Oh man, loyal.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we had some good fans before we came out as conservative.
No, they sucked.
Yeah, they sucked. They was broke.
They were terrible.
It was a bunch of liberals.
We was in Florida, right? And
liberals.
this is older couple, right? It was was it Orlando?
Yeah.
Right after the show, we doing our meet and greet, and the guy comes up. He's like, "Dude, I gotta get your shirt, man. I'll give you each $250. Just give me my shirt. I'm gonna give it to my wife. Oh, she's gonna really like it, man."
Oh, man.
Right? I didn't know she was there. And then
We
we
show
took
up with a telescope?
so we take our shirts off.
Just after our show.
Yeah.
Not like a merch shirt, like the shirt you're
your shirt
wearing.
off, you're
Yeah,
wearing.
it's
The shirt I wore during the show.
Was this a white guy?
It was a 17.
Yeah, it was a white guy.
Oh, that's a problem.
He looked like your dad.
Turns out it was.
That's why it was still fitting.
And then we take the shirts off. He's like, "Oh man, dude, man, y'all looking good, man." And then his wife said, "Oh my God, they took their shirts off," and she comes running from the back, and we're up on stage. I'm like, "This is gonna turn into some cuckold action."
Yeah, and you know what's
Only
funny?
if you guys take part. Like, it's not, that's on you.
Not passive.
Yeah, you know what's funny though? You know what's funny? Our wives were there, and they were standing in the back like two Mexican immigrants. Just like,
To be clear, their wives are actually Mexican immigrants.
Oh, okay.
They were just saying.
They were looking
They
like
were
that.
standing like two Mexicans. For people who don't know your
Mexicans
wives, that's
always-
what it sounded like.
Always stand in those Mexicans.
All those Mexicans, got their 2 legs and shit.
What am I supposed to say? What commentary can I give? What do we just watch and I have like a befuddled like face on? What am I supposed to say about this? It's just cringy as fuck. Yeah, the right is getting better at comedy and the left is getting scared. You know, I guess if we're not going to get any arguments out of this, because it doesn't really seem like we are, they're just making me cringe. I guess we can just talk about the way that the right does propaganda, or at least one of the ways in which it does, right? I feel like this could be good content. Oh yeah, also, not sponsored or anything, but I got a Ridge wallet for Christmas. I've always wanted one. I guess I should probably cover like my card. I don't know if there's anything that would be showing that could be bad. But yeah, let's check that out. I got a Ridge wallet for Christmas. Lonnie got it for me. It's pretty cool. I like it. Anyway, though, I guess we can talk about one of the ways in which the right does comedy, and one of the ways in which the right does like their propaganda, right? So here's the thing, okay? Conservatism thrives off of being disaffected and sort of, what's the word for it? Not really giving a shit about the state of the world or making it a better place. Now, obviously, like the Nazis and the really hardcore conservatives do care about what they believe is making the world worse, but most people that seem to get really into the conservative shit and then eventually to the alt-right sometimes, they typically start out as disaffected, edgy, young white dudes. That's usually where it starts. And the way that you pull in people who are disaffected and edgy is with edgy humor and sort of covering your politics in that edgy humor. So let's say you are a Nazi content creator, okay? And you want to radicalize young white boys that are like 15 to 20 into being like Nazis, right? How would you do this? Well, you would recognize that nobody's going to make the jump from liberal straight to Nazi, or leftist straight to Nazi, or genuine centrist. When I say centrist, I mean someone who doesn't really care about politics and kind of does like the both sides thing. Like, well, I mean, the left and the right both have bad ideas, you know? Straight to Nazi. That's not how it works. It just doesn't work that way. The way you do it is through, and I think with Autro actually made a good point here, political grooming. Now, let's say you have a mainstream conservative talking head, right? Some conservative figure who's more in the middle of things, like center-right, you know? I'd say Steven Crowder is pretty center-right. Steven Crowder doesn't seem to be a Nazi. He's pretty racist and transphobic and homophobic and whatnot, but regardless of that, he's not a Nazi. He's not like an alt-righter. He's not like a JQer. He's none of these things, right? You would start or recognize the validity and the value of someone like Steven Crowder. Steven Crowder has a show that would very effectively appeal to disaffected, edgy gamer bros. Xander Hall's Mark Dice a Nazi? Yes, he literally referenced the JQ in his recent video that I covered. This is how you would pull them in, right? Because there's nothing overtly political about this. Not to somebody who isn't already very interested in politics. What do you think the average apolitical edgy boy thinks about trans people? Like the segment at the beginning of this. What do you think the opinion of most edgy sort of apolitical people, what do you think they think about trans people? Not very positively. What about gay people? They probably think, I don't really care as long as they don't do it around me, but they're happy to say the F slur and joke about them and so on, right? Yeah, they probably think trans people are mentally ill. That's a pretty common belief. That is probably the overwhelmingly common belief of most people, especially when Caitlyn Jenner is like the face of trans people, at least in America, right? And not exactly a good person either. So, not exactly the best figurehead. Maybe they've seen a Blair White video. So they believe that there's some good trans people, but most of them are mentally ill, crazy, cringy, rapists and criminals because they watch Blair White. Or have seen Blair White. If they're a little bit more knowledgeable about trans people, that would be their opinion on it. This type of content is made to appeal to both your sort of boomers, your conservative boomer types that, you know, like their bourbon and cigars, as well as your edgy gamer boys who just want to hear a bunch of grown men do fake black accents and shit on minorities. But as a joke, you know, because it's a joke, you know, there's no real racists out there, you know, racism isn't actually a thing. This is a talking point they like to push. So it's fine to, you know, shit on these people and joke about it and whatnot. And this seems to be the overwhelmingly common belief of a lot of these people. So the way that you bring them in is with stuff like Steven Crowder, this very chill, laid back, just smoking cigars, hanging out in the man cave type content that to them is pretty funny because they're into this type of humor. And then the YouTube algorithm does the rest. I mean, obviously Steven Crowder would have guests on that are more far right than him, but usually it's the YouTube algorithm. You know, if we look at here, this is what we'll do, okay? My recommended isn't clean because it's mostly left-leaning stuff that I watch unless I'm streaming. So what we'll do is I'll go to an incognito window and we'll go ahead and I'll watch a Steven Crowder video and we'll see what's in the recommended. So we've got Joe Rogan with Alex Jones. We've got more Steven Crowder, more Joe Rogan. Got some non-harmful stuff. Here we got Jordan Peterson. More Jordan Peterson. Oh, look, we got the Rubin Report. That's a nice one. More Peterson. For the most part, not too bad. But I want to remind you all right now, this is one single Crowder video in incognito mode, unaffected by my YouTube search results and my typical watching. This is what happens to your recommended watching one Steven Crowder video, okay? So let's say you want to check out the Joe Rogan podcast and see Alex Jones. Well, you get a lot more Joe Rogan in your recommended. The Tim Dillon Show? No idea who that is. With Andrew Schultz. Isn't that like a right-wing guy? I'm not exactly sure. You're going to get a lot more of this. Dan Aykroyd. How you talk to Dan Aykroyd? Pog. Alex Jones Returns is the top recommended. This would probably be what you would click on next if you like Alex Jones. Let's watch more Alex Jones. You got Elon Musk. You got more Alex Jones. You're basically going, Ben Shapiro. Elon Musk fucking tech bros. Ben Shapiro. So this used to be a lot worse. It's still pretty bad in the sense that the YouTube algorithm, inevitably, when you kind of watch this content, is going to send you down a bit of a rabbit hole. But YouTube has gotten better with it. After that article came out from the New York Times, New York Post, I can't remember. I think it was the New York Times. After that New York Times article came out from Faraday Speaks, the whole story they did on him, YouTube kind of changed their algorithm a bit more to not let that happen as much, but it still happens. But eventually, someone like Mark Dice, who's an actual Nazi, will pop up in your recommended. Back when Alex Jones was on YouTube, Alex Jones would have popped up in your recommended. And Alex Jones is fucking insane. Undoubtedly. Even if you're a conservative, I think most conservatives could argue that fucking Alex Jones is insane. But yeah, it's... My point that I'm making is, regardless of how cringy and awful Steven Crowder's show is, the left needs to learn from this shit. It really does. The left needs to learn from the ways that the right does their propaganda and take advantage of the YouTube algorithm as a way to spread our ideas. That's what we need to be doing. And I don't think the left is going to do all that well online in the future unless we learn to adapt and start using fire against fire. I know you would imagine you would want to use water against fire, but in this case, that doesn't really work. What would be water? Do you guys remember? Guys, I'm actually really curious. Do you remember the YouTube strike thing that Breadtube tried to do in 2019? This was the dumbest shit in the fucking world. Do you remember when a bunch of Breadtubers got together and decided that they were going to do a strike? Do you remember that? I actually got shit because I disregarded the strike and streamed anyway. Yes, Vosh did a good video on it. Did he? I need to actually check that out. Yeah. A bunch of the Breadtubers decided to do a fucking strike. Now, most Breadtubers make prepared content that takes a long time to make, so 2 or 3 days or a week of a strike isn't really going to do anything. But do you really think that sacrificing upload time to do a fucking strike for a group of people on YouTube that are probably a fraction of 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 a percent of the people on YouTube who make content. Do you really think it's going to harm YouTube in any way? Fuck no. All it does is kneecap the left on YouTube and prevent us from spreading our ideas in an effective way. Do you know why the right is so successful at doing what they do? Pulling people into these beliefs? It's because they flood the fucking algorithm. Right-wing channels can make really easy, really saturated content constantly. They don't need to research to spread their ideas. They generally can just record, like The Quartering or fucking Geeks and Gamers or Tim Pool. They can upload 4 to 5 to 6 videos a day and get away with it because they get so many subscribers. They flood the algorithm. They get tons of fucking views. They get tons of subscribers. And it's almost impossible to avoid them unless you actively want to. Which, if you want to avoid something like that, you got to already be pretty left-leaning. So this is why the right is doing so well, and the left needs to learn from this. We need to incorporate some of their methods into our own if we want to be successful. And it's so fucking frustrating to me how many leftist content creators, or even just like liberal and progressive content creators, don't recognize that. To be fair, though, most lib content creators do seem to recognize it. Like, if I'm being completely honest, when it comes to pragmatism, most liberal content creators are a bit better with this than leftist ones. And I think the reason for that is that a lot of leftist content creators feel like exploiting the YouTube algorithm to spread our ideas is like also a compromise on our principles, while libs don't believe that. Because the libs don't have any principles like against corporations or something like YouTube, right? Because they're capitalists. Xander Hall, I think leftists need real-world influence. Like what Destiny said, the left has a lot of online influence and the right has a lot of influence outside of the internet. We need more liberal senators and shit. Absolutely, ArcherCraft17, you are absolutely right. And Destiny was right there. I feel like the left should do more real-world action. Now, that's not for me to do. I'm a streamer. I do my stuff online. This is my job. But you guys, if you can, particularly when this pandemic ends, should take more action in terms of the real world. You know, join the DSA, canvas for left-wing candidates, join an organization. But the most important thing you can do right now is electoralism. I know leftists hate electoralism, but guys, listen to me. We cannot achieve our goals as leftists if there are fascists in power. We saw what happened when there was a fascist in power with Trump. We need to see what happens, or we need to operate under libs in power. We need to. Liberals, at the very least, won't tear gas and spray rubber bullets at peaceful protesters in a park so that they can take a photo op at a church and hold a Bible upside down for the picture. That's what fascists do. That's what Trump did. If you even want to have your right to protest for what you want, you can't have a fascist in power. And to keep fascists out of power, you have to fucking vote. Because we do live in somewhat of a democracy. Our votes do, for the most part, matter, barring, the Electoral College and voter suppression and whatnot. Fucking vote, okay? Please. Vermin Xander Hall, Vosh pack. Yeah, Vosh is making a pack. Vosh makes a lot more money than I do, so he can afford to do this, but Vosh is starting a pack pretty soon. That's going to be really big. That would be really cool if a lot more wealthy leftist content creators did this kind of stuff. And, I'd like to see more of that. That's going to be pretty fucking cool. I'd like to start my own pack one day if I make enough money to do it, but I obviously don't. So I can't really afford to do something like that. But that's the kind of stuff we should do. We also need guns just in case. If you feel like you're comfortable owning a gun, then yeah, you can get a gun, I guess. Yeah, guns are cool. I like guns. But Lonnie won't let me get one, so that sucks. Lonnie, sadly, will not allow me to buy a gun. But you know how it is. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, thank you so much for watching. I'm sorry for subjecting you to the insane cringe that is Steven Crowder. But with that said, Thank you all so much for watching. If you're new, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you get notified whenever I go live or upload a video. You can also follow me on Twitter through the link in the description. Really appreciate that. As well as joining my fan Discord through the link in the description as well. If you want to debate me, and that's the one place you'll be able to do it. You may even be able to do it on stream, so definitely hit me up there. You can also, if you have any extra money sitting around you don't need for anything else, you can always sub or donate on the website, xanderhall.com/live. You can see it's the chat right there on the side of the screen. And of course, you can also pledge on Patreon or hit the join button and become a channel member. It's always appreciated, and the support is very helpful. Thank you for watching, and have a good one.